When a love relationship is at its peak, there is no room left for any interest in the environment. Lovers are enough for themselves. A religion, even if it calls itself a religion of love, must be harsh and does not love those who are not its members. The instinct of love for an object demands mastery to acquire it, and if a person feels unable to control the object or feels threatened by it, they act negatively towards it. Smoking is indispensable if there is nothing to smell. From error to error, one discovers the whole truth. Life, as we discovered, is too difficult for us. It brings us too much pain, it's disappointing. I became aware of my destiny, to be part of a critical minority as opposed to an unquestioning majority. Men are more moral than they think and far more immoral than they can imagine. The most complex attainment of the mind is possible without the aid of consciousness. Knowledge is intellectual manipulation of carefully verified observations. Writers write for fame, fortune, power, and love for women. Look into your own soul and learn to know yourself first. Then you will understand why this disease must come to you, and maybe from then on you will avoid falling sick. Civilized society is constantly threatened with disintegration through the primary enmity between men towards one another. When making less important decisions, I always find it beneficial to weigh all the pros and cons. When someone harasses me, I can defend myself, but against praise I am powerless. When a person does not have what he wants, he will want what he has. Creative writers do the same thing as a child at play. He created a fantasy world which he took very seriously. A virtuous man fills himself with dreaming of what bad people do in real life. A civilization that leaves so many of its participants dissatisfied and drives them into rebellion, also has no prospect of eternal life. Again, only religion can answer the question of the purpose of life. It is almost impossible to wrongly conclude that the idea of life has a purpose of standing and falling with religious systems. No one believes in his own death. In the subconscious, each person is sure of his own immortality. The intention that humans should be happy was not in the plan of creation. Just as no one can be forced to believe, so no one can be forced to believe. The only person you should compare yourself to is the past you. And the only person better than you, here you are now. It is easy to see that the ego is that part of the id which has been modified by direct influences from the outside world. Strong egoism is a protection against disease, but as a last resort we must begin to love so that we do not fall ill, and must fall ill if, as a result of frustration, we cannot love. Only useless people are not interested in their past. A life that we consider too difficult for us, it requires too much pain, too much disappointment, an impossible task. We cannot do without palliative treatment. Thus in every individual, two tendencies, one towards personal happiness and the other towards unity with the rest of mankind, must compete with each other. Obviously one should hold oneself responsible for the evil impulses of one's dreams. In what other ways can one handle it? Unless the content of a properly understood dream is inspired by an alien spirit, it is a part of my own existence.